It was a little over 2.5 years ago when I last had any significant communication with either one of my parents. And it was about 3-4 weeks ago now that I got a letter kind of out of the blue from my mom just saying, hey, what have I done? I want to talk to you. And is it okay if I reach out and talk to your daughter? So it's her granddaughter nobody in the family's had any communication with my parents for, like I said, 2.5 years.
What happened?
It was a long time coming. So I was one of the guys that makes you mad, when he doesn't stand up to his parents and just kind of like going along, trying to keep everybody happy, letting my wife take the brunt of it. That was me for the first, and I've been married now for a little over 20 years.
Oh, so she beat up your wife a lot, was never approving.
Oh yeah, it was. Right before we even got married, she made the statement, one of these days, your wife's going to come between us. And it was just, it was bad. But
my mom, on the other hand, said, hey, if y'all ever break up, she's moving in with us. You're on your own. So yeah, very, very good. Dang, dude. Wow. Okay. So what was the big event? Something happened 2.5 years ago that you just said, we're done.
Yeah, it finally came to a head. So my parents live about 13 hours from us. They'd come down to visit, because they do that every once in a while. So they came down to visit, and then they came to a show. My wife and my mom, at that point in time, had almost no communication. My wife was like cordial, saying hi, and that was about it, because she was sick and tired of being ripped apart. We were trying to just like get along for the sake of, I don't even know what at this point. But they came down, watched a show, then went to an archery tournament that my daughter was shooting in. My wife and son were sitting in the bleachers, and my mom was cheering for my daughter. Well, the way they shoot archery in this particular event is quiet. So my son just looked over and said, hey, Nana, we don't cheer. It needs to be quiet while they're shooting. So my mom thought my wife put my son up to saying something, and she got mad. And she pouted and sulked and just made everything really like awkward. Then the next day we had a soccer game my son was in, and my mom sat on the sidelines crocheting and knitting for the entire game. Didn't even look up once. Game was over. They were getting ready to leave. And my son came off the field, and he came off crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he said, Nana didn't even pay attention. She doesn't even care. And it was building that, my mom played favorites. My daughter was the favorite. And since my son was on the spectrum, she couldn't communicate with him comfortably. So she just kind of didn't. And everybody in the family saw it. So, and I let it go. So I got to own that one. I let it go, but it came to a head that day. And I just walked up to him and I said, before we try and say this goodbye, we got to talk, because my son's really upset. And at which point in time, she's like, well, what do we do? And I said, well, this is what happened. And she goes, I don't need this effing crap. Got in the car, slammed the door. And then they drove away. A couple of days later, I tried to have a phone conversation with my dad. And all he did was yell at me and tell me how much of a problem my wife is and how horrible of a person I am. So I backed away from that conversation, and I ended up sending him an email saying, listen, if we're going to go forward, we need help. We need to get a professional involved, because we can't talk this out on our own. His response was, well, if you can't talk to me, a counselor's not going to do any good, because I'm asking you the same questions they are. And I just said, that's what it's got to be. And the last message I got from him was, have a good life.
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
On a positive note, the past 2.5 years,
they've been amazing, huh?
Absolutely freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I've been in therapy for 1.5 years, and my wife and I we're finally building our marriage, because her parents aren't any better. Mm-hmm. We haven't had any communication with them in close to a decade after my father-in-law threatened to kill me. So it's just us on an island. And,
but can we all just call out it's not supposed to be like that?
Yeah. I didn't realize it until recently.
Yeah. And can we also be honest, just son to son and a guy to guy? God almighty, it'd be awesome if your dad picked up the phone and just said, hey, I see that you're raising an amazing daughter and special needs son. I'm really freaking proud of you.
That'd be great, but that call will never come. I can't wait for it.
No, I know. But it's both and, right?
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been a great couple of years. It's been a drama-free couple of years, which right now feels great.
I would agree with that.
I hate this for you, dude. So what did your mom's letter say?
It just said, "Hey, I've been going through feeling like I've lost my son."
She did.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
She did.
100%. But she also went on to say, I don't know what happened. I don't know what we've done. I've tried to ask your dad, and he won't talk about it.
I would forward the email that he sent back.
Okay.
Let me say two things. One, you do not have to have a conversation.
And that's what I've been even debating on.
I have a rule in my life that I only have conversations like this with people who can hear them. And I only speak to when I can be heard. I don't speak to just have spoken. That's why, like when events happen in the world, I don't comment on this show very much because people can't hear it. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear an opposing side, or they just want to mine what you just said. For, are you on my team? Do you hate the right people? That's why I avoid it all. And so,
yeah, I learned that from you, and I've been actually implementing that in my life, and it's been good.
Yeah, I mean, nobody cares. Like,
right?
Like, I don't want to speak just so I can be like, I was on this team. No, unless it's some like grave injustice, and then I'll speak my mind on it. But yeah. So if you don't think they can hear you, the fact that she's saying, I don't know what happened. I feel like I lost my son. Like, yeah, you told me to F off, and you closed the door and drove away. And then when I called back out, Dad told me to have a good life. Yes, you lost your son. You told me to leave. Like directly, not even behaviors of language. Like you told me to leave. And so if there was a letter that was like, oh my gosh, I realized I pit you against your wife. I was wrong. Like I realized I messed this up and I want to start from ground zero. I would honor that. I would. And I might be a sucker, but I would honor that. But even just you telling me what that letter says is more of like a backwards, like, I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened. And my guess is that's kind of her move your whole life.
Oh, absolutely.
She throws a grenade and she's like, what? She
tells that was it.
Yeah. Like she tells you your wife, and that's just Gaslight 101, right?
I realize that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was, I mean, I thought I had a normal childhood, but yeah. A year and a half of therapy is kind of opening my eyes.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a therapist that goes, hey, that's not supposed to happen like that. And you're like, oh, thank God. Really? Yeah. It's your call based on that letter. I'm not super optimistic. If you want
neither was I. Because, I mean, the thing is, it didn't say anything about my wife or my son. It literally was, I feel like I've lost my son, and can I talk to my granddaughter?
Yeah. Same old.
I talked to my daughter about it, and she's like, she's going to have to like apologize to everybody before I'm interested in talking to her.
How old is your daughter?
My kids want nothing to do her. My daughter's 19.
Okay. So she's old enough. Yeah, she gets it.
Yeah, she's 19. My son's 16.
Yeah. And I bet she's a fierce defender of him too, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't mess with her brother.
Dude, I gotta tell you, one of my favorite people on the planet is older siblings or younger siblings with a special need brothers and sisters that are just walking around with a knife saying, I dare you. I dare you. Dude, I love that. Good for her, man. Like, hey, yeah, grandma, if you want to be my friend, you're gonna have to say sorry to my brother. That's awesome. And it's not helpful and it's not respectful, but it's awesome. You get the difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the thing I want you to be wary of, and I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you in this situation, I probably would not reach back out because it's the same old. And even that hint of, I feel like I've lost my own kid is making it your fault. And I don't know what I did.
It's always been my fault.
Yeah, exactly. And so the thing I just want you to be weary of is no matter how much healing you do, the fantasy of that phone call coming is always going to be there. There will always be a seat at your table for one of those demons saying, but maybe this is the call. And it's simply not going to come. And if you've listened to this show for more than 5 minutes, you know I believe in redemption and people changing more than anybody else. That call is not going to come.
Yeah.
And so the fantasy, you want it to be an olive branch so bad. And let's be honest, dude, nobody likes the thought of their mom just hanging out to dry, sitting at home. Of course she misses her son, and I feel bad about that. But it's not your job to circle back and become a Xanax for her. You've been making her feel okay for your whole life. It's just not your job. It's her job.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's the best I can give you, man. I'll support you whatever you want to do. I think this the fair and honest and right thing, both for your wife, for your daughter and your son, and then for your parents. And nobody's going to take my decision to treat people with dignity and respect, even if they don't respect me back. Is if you do reach back out, with that communication comes a roadmap. Here's what must be true for us to have a relationship. And if you want to take these steps, my front door is open. And if you don't, then you are choosing with your actions, with your behavior, to not be in a relationship with us. And that's what that's going to be. Golly, it breaks my heart. I'm so sick of families breaking up. It just breaks my heart, man.